You don't have to be rich to go to Disney. You just have to do things a little different. And that's what my videos are about. How to do things different and how to get to Disney on a budget. Our upcoming Disney vacation, we're planning on staying with my brother and sister-in-law at one of their timeshare condos. So there's a bunch of benefits for this. Number one, obviously, we don't have to pay when we go. Our only payment is I cook for a week, which means my brother and sister-in-law don't have to. But I mean, I was going to be cooking anyway, so it doesn't bother me, and I like to cook. So this video, I want to talk about meal planning. So how do I do the meal planning? Well, first thing I do is I figure out how many days we're going to stay and how many meals we're going to need to be there, or we're going to need to eat while we're there. This vacation, we're planning on 7 days. It'll probably be more like 5 or 6, but I go ahead and plan big. So I'm planning for 7 days of staying there, so I want to plan for that many meals. Now, this trip, we know we're going to be going to 2 different parks, Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom. So that's 2 days that I'm not going to be, pretty much, I'm not going to be cooking. So out of those 7 days, really only have to cook for 5 of those days. And then we're going to be doing some eating out that we always do when we're with my brother and sister-in-law. So that takes away some of the days, or some of the meals that I would have to make. And so really what it comes down to is after I figured it all up, I'm gonna need to make about 7 meals. You know, and that's not really counting breakfast, but for the most part, it's 7 meals. And so I wanted to figure out what meals I wanna make, about how much it's gonna cost, and then that way I get a pretty good idea of what my budget's gonna be. Now, if you've already seen the previous video, you know I've already set the budget at $125. And this is for the meal planning. These are the meals that we plan on eating in the condo. So I have it set for $125. Obviously, I don't want to spend that much, but I want to go ahead and set it high. That way I can make sure that I come in under budget. So once I sat down and I figured out $125 is about where I want to stay. And then I figured out how many days we're going to be there, what meals I'm going to need to make. You know, then it was easier for me to kind of split it up and see what meals I plan on cooking. One of the first ones that I want to do is like a chicken and rice dinner. I'm not going to go into each and every meal, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of what I'm planning and why I'm planning it for budget purposes. But anyways, chicken dinners. If I buy one of those rotisserie chickens, they're usually like $6, $7. You can easily get 3 meals out of that. So I do plan on buying one of those rotisserie chickens. Like I said, they're usually about $6 or $7. What I'm hoping for is that when I get to the store that I've timed it right, you know, because I don't know what time our flight's going to be in, and then picking up the car and then getting to the grocery store. So just depending on the times, but if I can get it and hit it just right, a lot of the times those rotisserie chickens, those rotisserie chickens that they cooked, they can only sell them for so long, and then after that they start fresh ones. Well, those ones that they call old, which might be, you know, a couple hours old or whatever, they've got them time stamped and everything, but they discount them so that sometimes you can get them for like $3.50, $4.50. So depending on when I get there, I only plan on buying 1 chicken right now, but if I happen to time it right and the chickens are lower, I'll probably go ahead and buy 2, because like I said, you can get 2 to 3 meals out of that. You might be asking, what meals can you get out of that? Well, one, you just shred the chicken up, separate it into 3 different bags. One meal you can do chicken and, you know, cream of chicken and then put it over rice or noodles or whatever. Another one that we really like is chicken quesadillas. You know, you just shred the chicken up, put it on the tortilla, put some cheese in it, maybe some veggies. You got chicken quesadillas, chicken soup. I mean, there's just chicken salad. There's just tons of stuff you can do with that rotisserie chicken. And it's already flavored and it's already cooked. So, you know, it's kind of like a win-win all the way around. So rotisserie chickens is a real good way to save some money. And this isn't just for when you're going on vacation. I mean, I use this all the time. So another thing I like buying is a big bag of potatoes. And one of the reasons I like doing that is because you can do so many things with the potatoes. You know, you can have mashed potatoes, you can have baked potatoes. I like to make cheesy potato soup. I mean, it's really good for a meal, you know, for a dinner or for a lunch. So potatoes are another one, and it can pretty much stretch just about any dinners. Another one I like to do is my husband, every time we go on vacation, he always wants biscuits and gravy. I don't know why. For some reason, that seems to be his vacation breakfast. So biscuits and gravy is always, always, always on our vacation list. So what I like to do is, because the sausage, especially right now, is pretty expensive. I mean, to get it on sale, it's like $2.50 a pound. So what I like to do is I like to cut it in half, and I'll use half of it for his biscuits and gravy. And then I like to use the other half and make kind of like a dirty rice. And rice is another one that I always have on my list, because again, you know, you can buy one bag of rice for like $3, and I mean, you can stretch so many meals out with that. So potatoes, rice, they're both good meal stretchers. So I will go with both of those. The chicken, I will separate that up into different meals. The sausage, I'll separate that up into different meals. So just by that alone, if the chicken I can get 3 meals out of, the sausage I can get 1 meal out of, I can actually get 2, but I'm not counting breakfast. So that's 4 meals right there. Another one that we always like to do when we're out is nachos. So obviously I'll be buying the ground beef and all of that stuff for the nachos. But nachos is always one that we always want to do when we're out. So what are my 7 meals? My 7 meals, as I have planned right now, are chicken and rice for 1 meal, chicken quesadillas for another meal, chicken and potatoes for another meal, potato soup, hamburger helper, which I just use the hamburger and then I make my own. I put brown gravy in it and egg noodles, and I'll serve that over either probably potatoes. And then the other one would be dirty rice. So there you have it. And the nachos. So there's the 7 meals that I plan on doing. As far as breakfast goes, breakfast is completely different. I will do, you know, obviously I'll do the biscuits and gravy, French toast and pancakes, and then we'll have cereal for the other days and donuts for the park days, because donuts are easy to grab and just go. So that's the plan for the meals. As of right now, just those 7 meals, not counting the breakfast and stuff, just those 7 meals will run about $56. Now, like I said, I had budgeted for $125, but you know, that's not counting because we are flying. So, you know, I'm not going to have the spices, I'm not going to have the flour, I'm not going to have all the little extras that you normally would. So that's going to increase my budget in that aspect. But then there's also, you know, you got to have the regular staples, you know, the milk, the bread, sliced cheese, stuff for sandwiches, because we will be packing our own sandwiches to take into the parks both days. Pickles, cottage cheese, because my granddaughter has to have pickles and cottage cheese, so obviously we'll have that. Just the snacks, the donuts, and some of the other odds and ends. So $125 is a pretty big budget. Now, when I say the meal planning, like I said, this is my plan going into it, but just about every time I make a meal plan, every time we get to the grocery store, something happens. Either something else is on sale, or something that I thought wasn't going to be that expensive happens to be really expensive in that area. So this is the plan that I'm going into it with. Those are the 7 meals that I plan on. But once I get down there, if there's a sale on something else, I will wipe that entire plan completely off, and I will just start all over right there in the grocery store and figure it all out from there. But I won't go over the $125. Now, meal planning, if you're driving, is completely different, because if you're driving, obviously you can bring your own food from home. So, you know, you can save a ton of money because you've already bought the food, or you can even pre-prepare the food and then put it in the cooler and bring it with you. So if you're driving, that's going to save you a lot of money when you start figuring out your meal plan. If you're flying, you have to figure in your meal plan that if you're planning on fixing meals, you know, at a condo or whatever, you're going to have to factor in all the things that you're not going to have from home, like the flour, salt, pepper, all your spices, your condiments, pretty much just everything that you don't think about having at home. It's not going to be there when you get at a condo, because they provide the dishes and stuff like that, but they're not going to provide all the extra stuff. So make sure when you're doing your meal planning that you're thinking, when you're planning your meals, make sure that you're thinking about all of that, because that can really bust your budget. So those are my ideas for the meal plans. Like I said, those are the 7, but I'm not stuck to those 7. So if you have any better ideas, or you have your favorite meals that would work good going to a condo, let me know what they are in the comments below, because like I said, so long as I'm under the 125, everything that I've already planned may just get completely wiped out. So if you've got a really good idea for a meal that's super cheap and would help my budget, leave it in the comments.